everybody, let's cut to the chase. This is the weekend video, and this weekend I'm going to talk about a question that we had from Moses Gata in Nakuru, Kenya, that we covered in this past week's Powercast. Okay, so Moses was asking a question about something that AW Kenyon wrote in his book, Jesus the Healer? Yeah. Okay. Now, for all of you lucky people who don't know who AW Kenyon is and have never heard of him, he had a lot of influence in the 20th century on fundamentalist evangelical groups, fringe groups like Word of Faith, a lot of Pentecostals. And what A.W. Kenyon said was anybody who is born again, that born again status means that you should never be sick. It means you should be permanently healed. And there's even a faction of people out there who believe that's true, and if you've got the faith, and if you have no sin in your life, and if you're in God's will, you would essentially physically never die. It had a lot of influence in Word of Faith. It still does, as a matter of fact. So, where did A.W. Kenyon get that from? He got that from something Isaiah said that is quoted throughout the New Testament by John and by Paul and by Luke, and but most significantly by Paul. And Paul was talking about how Isaiah said that God blinded their eyes and stopped up their heels, lest they turn and be converted, and he should heal them. Well, what was the healing that Isaiah was talking about? Because this is, if you apply this to the physical body, our physical bodies, then you are completely ignoring what God said would happen at the cross. See, the healing was not something in the physical dimension, it was something in the spiritual dimension. Who was sick? Adam, all of us. Who was corrupted by sin? Adam, all of us. And so God blinded their eyes and stopped up their ears so that he could ensure that nobody believed, so he could have mercy upon all, as Paul said to the Romans. And that was the healing that occurred. What was the born-again thing that occurred? That was everybody in the first Adam being raised to life again in the last Adam, raised again in incorruptible seed, never to be corrupted by the illness, the sickness, the disease of the first Adam. That's the born-again thing. That's the resurrection to life of all. That is what it was that Paul was talking about. He himself got very, very sick for a very long, extended period of time and talked about how he slowly recovered and thanked everybody for praying for him. But Paul, who is the apostle of God and the authority of all, to ignore the fact that that born-again man, which everybody thought was born again, for sure, he had to be, for Paul to get sick, that kind of throws a monkey wrench totally into this doctrine of being physically healthy and healed from everything. The healing that God was concerned about all along was not whether you or I got a cold or cancer. The healing that God was concerned about all along was everlasting life. That's the healing that he was talking about. So, we've dealt with Moses' question, and there's one other question that Mike actually answers. The question's from Chris Harrison. Those of you who are in our groups on Facebook, you know of Chris. Chris posed a question on Facebook. Mike answered it like only Mike can. And I complimented him afterwards when I heard him answer it. I was like, that was good preaching, Roberts. Well, I'm going to post a link to that Powercast because Mike's answer is in that Powercast. And you can go to the Powercast by clicking the link below this YouTube video on the YouTube channel and going straight to the link. So, have a good day. And yes, I'm going to tell you to click and subscribe. Now, I've talked to you guys in the past week, a few of you, and you've told me that you can't subscribe. It won't let you. There's no subscribe button, and you can't click like or comment either. Well, we figured out what that is. You don't have a YouTube account. And that's a real simple thing to do. It'll ask you to either sign in to your YouTube account or it'll ask you to create one. And it's real simple. All you do is come up with a name for your account, you give them your email address, and you create a password, and you got an account. Once you're signed in, then click subscribe, which is the little red button below, and click either the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and comment, like it, hate it, let me know. Have a good week.